Welcome to The Dream Journal. From the studios in KSQD in Santa Cruz, The Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with listeners like you. A dream can be meaningful even if you don't know what it means. Today's custom-made ambient music is called Re-Chronofier. Can't see your way through a difficult situation because of powerful emotions? Try asking all souls concerned to discuss issues until they understand why things happened. Because once the soul understands, forgiveness takes place. Today, we speak with Amy Jo Ellis, founder of the Court of Atonement. I am your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. The Festival of Dreams will be at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History October 10th through 12th. Talks and workshops and also a pop-up art show of dream-inspired creations. Tickets and details can be found at festivalofdreams.net. Early bird discounts are available through September 10th. Plus, bring a friend and save. It's more fun with a friend anyway, right? So let me share a dream I've been exploring lately. I'm in the bathroom. It looks a lot like my regular bathroom at home, and the room is just filled with living rose bushes. That there are, there's just an abundance of these flowers everywhere, and I don't remember thorns, but I kind of surrounded by these luscious flowers. And the most amazing thing is that I can smell them. It's kind of rare to smell anything in a dream, And, there was this moment of frustration where I couldn't get the bath to work. And I thought, I should have a bath here. But as I've worked with this dream, I've really focused in on the moment of smelling the roses and really enjoying the touch of the roses and their fragrance. And there's something about this that feels like a real gift that I get to experience this moment of roses. Okay, Amy Jo Ellis is a spiritual medium who channeled the resolution technique, the Court of Atonement, which has gained worldwide exposure. She is with us today because the validity of the process was revealed to her in dreams, and not just her dreams, but also her mother's dreams. We can find our guest at thecourtofatonement.com. Hello, Amy Jo Ellis.
Hi. That was a fun tangle.
It is that's part of my own personal journey is how do you stay engaged and let the tangles work themselves out? This is one of my life quests. It's like, how do I ride the surf of the chaos that's happening? Just like I shared a dream about smelling the roses, but then getting frustrated about not being able to fill the bathtub. And I'm like, well, how can I stay with the fragrance of the roses and not get caught in the frustration of filling the bathtub? So, Amy Jo Ellis, we did it.
Well, yes. Well, part of that would be to just look straight at it and say, well, this is here.
Right.
Not get upset by it. Just say, this is here, but it'll work itself out. It'll be fun, whatever happens.
Oh, there you go. It'll be fun, whatever happens. That's a good motto. I appreciate that. And, I understand that you went through some tangles yourself and that your life path has been anything but straightforward, and that you call yourself, was it a reluctant spiritual medium? Or?
Yes, a reluctant. I did not step off and go, hey, you know what? This looks like a fun thing to do.
So tell me a little bit about that journey. What was that like?
Well, I didn't believe any of this existed, pretty much. I didn't believe any of it existed. And then I had some major events happen that made me go, oh, wait, that really is happening. And I have to look at that deeper. I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but I my boss was murdered.
Oh.
And it stopped me in my tracks. I'd seen him at 10 o'clock at night, and here it was 6:30 in the morning, and they're telling me that he's gone.
Wow.
And I just kind of shouted his name, and like you would a friend, oh, John, John, John.
Right, sure.
I shouted his name and said, how did you get yourself in a situation to get yourself murdered? And I asked the question out loud, and all of a sudden I began having visions of exactly what happened. And like I said, without going into too much detail, I saw it. I saw it all line out. And so I was actually swatting the air and trying to make the vision stop, going, no, 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 no.
Whoa.
My husband and friend were standing there, and they're like, what's going on? I went, oh, my God, I saw it all. And I explained what I saw. And she said,
you saw the murder you're talking about?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I saw it line out. I saw who was involved. I saw what they did. And I told him what I saw, and she goes, you got to take that to the police. And I went, yeah, that's a good idea. My husband's like, we live on a 4-mile by 7-mile island with murderers on it.
Whoa.
You cannot take that to the police.
Right. Ooh.
He's going to be quiet. And so I didn't go in or say anything, but the lady who I told did. And she told them what I saw, and they went down to the ferry dock, and they waited until the truck I described pulled onto the ferry. They put it on first, and then they pulled away with the 3 people I described in it, and they had them.
Whoa.
And that night, a police officer came to the door and said, hey, I hear you were friends with somebody who had a vision. We want you to tell her thank you.
Yes. So you never admitted that it was you, or at least not to them anyway.
Not to them. They knew. He was wink, wink.
Okay. So that's pretty traumatic and unequivocal that you had that vision.
Right. And you can't really say, it's very much a dream, by the way. It's just happening in your mind like a dream does.
Right. Yeah, this is something that I've been talking about with guests lately, that the visions that we get in the daytime come from the same place or the same stuff, access the subconscious, whatever, however you want to call it, as dreams do, right? Is that what you're talking about, right?
Yes, exactly. It is. And a lot of the dreams are, it's like you can't say, okay, well, that's prophetic because, some of us find ourselves trying to, flush a snake down a toilet or something.
Well, yeah, we hope that a lot of our dreams are not prophetic because some of them are pretty terrible.
Right. I was going to say they're not prophetic, but they're trying to, it's pretty much our subconscious mind, if not our guides, trying to get us to become aware of something that's upsetting us in our daily life and take action. And so it's, it is a communication of sorts of how to kind of straighten your life out. And I just pretty much say, okay, all of this information I got in the dream, you can choose God, higher self, any form of deity, and say, I want you to resolve the reasons I had that dream. I want to resolve the reasons. And so you're asking for help when you see it.
Okay.
When you have a stressful dream, you're kind of needing help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And like, man, I don't know who to ask about this, right? That's the first thought.
Okay. Right. And what do you recommend? Speaking straight to the source, huh? Straight to God?
Right. Yeah, straight, like I said, straight to God. You name it, higher self. My husband's, as a medium, my husband's mother came to me and she said, she said, Ken doesn't really have a good belief in God. If he needs something done, he believes in me. Tell him to ask me to do it.
Even though she had passed away, I take it?
Yes, he'd passed away.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell him to ask me. All right.
Right.
So this was
anything's out there. Try that.
Okay, whatever you believe. Ask whoever and whatever you believe. So this sounds like the origin of your Court of Atonement. Right? The idea that I need help sorting this out. So can you tell us a little bit about this procedure and how it's worked for you and for other people that you know?
Okay, I sure can.
Yeah.
It started out, I figured out that I could ask a question and then sit quietly and the answer would come. It's as simple as that. There's no real, there's no real craziness about just writing down the first thought that comes to mind. And I just asked, I went, how do I solve this problem? They said, put their souls in a Court of Atonement. And I went, a court of what? What are we talking about? That sounds so weird. And then they explained that atonement is is look at the word at one-ment. You're just trying to get it all back together. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to give it a try. And I sat down and I said his family's names. And my husband's family was, hadn't been speaking in a long time. So I put them in the Court of Atonement. And then on his birthday, all 5 of his siblings called and wished him a happy birthday. And that hadn't happened in 10 years. He hadn't been talking to them.
Whoa. And did you even tell your husband that you were doing this?
I did. I handed him a piece of paper that I'd written it all out on because I kind of typed and I'm going. And he went, do you think that crazy stuff you did? I was, yeah, I do.
Okay. So you just asked for all the souls involved to be in communication and to...
Right. You ask to place their souls in a court of atonement and ask to resolve the conflicts between them at their points of origin.
Okay. And then you never actually see any of that conversation, I take it. It's just...
No,
happens.
You don't.
Because I'm kind of curious sometimes, like what's behind some of these things. But maybe it's not my place to find out, and I just would rather have it resolved.
Right. Well, have you ever you've had a problem with a person, and all of a sudden you're walking along and you go, oh my gosh, I know what happened. I know what I did. I know why she's mad.
Yep.
I finally get it. That's what happens.
Okay.
I finally get understanding, kind of. We'll use the word download. In a download, in an inspiration, you go, oh, I just figured it out.
Oh, interesting. Oh, there's some great parallels between the show last week about the divine influx and the cosmic download, and just getting this sense of understanding. And then, but the question is, do we trust it? Like, I have been a long journey for me to trust those nudges and those words.
In this case, it's just all of a sudden, if you've used the Court of Atonement, all of a sudden they got the nudge and they called you.
Oh, okay.
And you have to answer the phone. And all of a sudden the conversation is, hey, how are you doing? What are you guys up to today? And there's no talk about the past.
Okay, interesting.
And if you're willing to drop it, it's gone. But some people make the mistake of bringing it up again.
Right. That's maybe key there. If you're willing to drop it.
Exactly.
I see. Okay. That's interesting because a lot of the ahas, the insights I get from dream work and other kinds of personal growth work, they just become a part of me so simply that it seems like I always felt like way. It's like there wasn't really any big change because I'm not aware of how I was before. So I wonder if that's part of like my soul shifting. Like there's a shift when I have that realization, and then it's like it always has been that way, even though there has been a change. Like you said, you don't have to go back to the past and rehash it.
Right. You don't have to go back to the past. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't a nudge. It is if you put yourself in a Court of Atonement to get a better job, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know what? I should go apply there. That's a nudge that you're going to have to follow on. But because we can work with our own soul and ask our own soul to do things.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I have questions for my own soul. Right. Okay, I'm taking notes. All right. So
you just
go ahead.
Ask for what you're wanting.
Okay, and then you have to use that phrase to put your soul in the Court of Atonement, and
you have to. You can. For me, it'll be like, okay, I want to get a better job, so I state our names. I'm doing this to your listeners who might want to get a better job.
Yeah.
Place my soul, myself into a full Court of Atonement. I bring in my soul. And I bring in a new wonderful job. And now I have to analyze our timelines and resolve any and all conflicts between us. Now, the conflicts might be, I don't believe I'm worth that better job.
Right.
So asking to resolve whatever's there. And that's pretty much it. And then I say I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy, which means I ask for like an agreeable outcome.
Okay.
An odd wording, but it's there. I just go with it.
Right. Well, okay.
If you use something, I use that wording, especially when it feels really powerful. And once you start doing this, you'll actually, if you're in tune with energy at all, you'll feel it moving. You'll feel like, oh, wow, you're yawning. Some people sneeze, some people cough, but the energy will start to move.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. So you've been doing this technique for a while now, and it seems like you've had really good results. And in fact, you have people who've done this certification training who are doing this on their own as well, right?
Right. Yes, correct. And dreams, your show is about dream journal. And I thought, oh, we're a perfect match because the Court of Atonement wouldn't be here if it weren't for the fact that we were dreaming about it.
Okay.
So after we found it, I'm not a quick study. I didn't use it again for a year. And I didn't know I could. And then I overheard an argument in the other room, and I put it into a Court of Atonement. And the next day, my mom's like, "What'd you do? Everybody's getting along so well." Oh, I put our souls in a Court of Atonement because I'd asked, what can I do? And my guide said, put him in a Court of Atonement. I went, that again? And so my mom said, hey, she goes, write that down. I want to look at it. And so I gave it to her. And she asked me, she said, do you think it'll work for people who have passed? And I got this big rush of energy saying yes. And I went, whoa, yes, like even better for them. Like we have free will and we might have reasons not to do it at the soul level. But once they have already lived their life, there's no reason not to clean up what was left behind. So it just kind of works really easy for them. And so she goes, well, I want to work with that because her mother and her grandmother had issues. And so I gave it to her written down, and she started, like she said, she couldn't go to bed at night without just like going into this dreamy state and just doing Courts of Atonement for anybody who came to mind. And she said she would spend hours and wake up feeling super refreshed.
Wow.
Like other than this like dream state. But what was really cool is that she would start dreaming and saying, hey, your cousin Sanji came to me in a dream last night and wanted to thank you for some of the work you did for her. And I went, oh, I put her in a Court of Atonement yesterday.
Okay. So you're getting this feedback that it was actually people were getting results from what you were doing.
Right. Yeah. In the dream.
In the dream. Oh, you were doing it in the dream. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I'm saying that she would get the confirmation in the dreams, but she would go to bed and go to sleep and then wake up in this kind of a dream state doing Courts of Atonement in her dreams. And a lot of people tell me that happens to them. I must have heard it 100 times.
Oh.
They've gone to bed and that they wake up the next morning feeling really refreshed.
So this seems
I was up all night doing it, but then I woke up feeling great.
Okay. So this is something that I've always struggled with a little bit, the idea of dream incubation, of like having an answer to a question or to resolve something in a dream. And they talk about incubation. It sounds like this could be a way of doing a kind of incubation. And I was going to say, I never had much success with is incubating, because I will incubate about some issue and the dream will be about some other issue that actually is more important. But I didn't know it at the time. I wasn't thinking about it. So it sounds like this is a way that you can...
I'd like to say that sometimes the issues that we're dealing with in our life have roots in other issues.
Oh, true.
So when you've got the answer about the other issue, once you did that, it might have untangled the energy that was causing the issue you dreamed about.
Okay.
It came from there. So I let's say, for instance, I moved into a new house, and the gentleman right next door, his girlfriend, would sit out on the back porch and smoke. And the smoke would pour all over my beautiful garden, and it wasn't any fun to be out there. And so instead of going and knocking on the door, hey, I just put it in a Court of Atonement and asked to like resolve the reasons that they're smoking. And I didn't say reasons they're smoking. I just asked for them to stop smoking, basically. And so, but then it didn't stop. And I went back in and I said, okay, well, what do I need to do to get this? And I was like, well, resolve the reasons that he is smoking. That they are smoking. And so then I asked to resolve the reasons that they were smoking, and then it stopped.
Okay.
And so then, in just a conversation, not about that at all, about 3 weeks later, we met up with them, and they're like, yeah, no, well, we both just decided to quit smoking, and they got patches on. And I said, and I just kind of said, oh, really? He goes, yeah, I figured it was time. It was kind of like I started smoking to be cool like my dad. And my dad turned into be a real jerk. Why was I still trying to emulate him? And how did he have that epiphany? Unless the Court of Atonement told him to tell me.
Right. Good insight. Uh-huh.
So like I said, the reasons that something is going on in the one dream that you have can be totally entangled in that other event that they showed you.
I appreciate that, Amy Jo. This is something that I had not really considered, and I'm going to maybe make another run at some dream incubation and see if I can, shift a few things, like, that I tend to be in a rush, that I have a lot of dietary sensitivities. Like there's certain things that I really like to shift in myself, but then be patient and know that there's sometimes things in the background that are causing these things, issues in the background.
Right. Well, on the dietary things, what I find a lot of times is we'll have what I would call a negative trigger to something. For instance, I have a severe shellfish allergy. And when I went back and looked at it, I never say I cured it, but I haven't had any accidental problems with it now in years. But what I did was I went back and I looked at it, and it was like, okay, who do I remember? Who do I think about when I think about the shellfish? And I remembered that I'd had a big problem with a person in Puerto Rico at that time. And once then I used the Court of Atonement between myself and that person and shellfish and asked to resolve the conflict. And that helped lessen I would say it was so bad. Well, I was so bad that somebody spilled water on me that had like shrimp in it and, in the bag. And it took my toenail off.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
So the shellfish allergy was insanely severe. And I used to walk into a restaurant and just like I couldn't breathe. I had to leave if I could smell shellfish. And now I can go eat in those places comfortably and feel fine. I'm just tell the chef I have an allergy. Don't, just to be sure, because I really don't want to entangle that again. But I'm fairly sure that I am so much more safe now, or feel safe than I did. We get what we believe in this life. So if we believe we're going to have a problem, then we're going to have a problem.
Right. Well, it becomes a cycle where you get sensitized to something and then you're afraid of it and it gets more sensitive.
Right.
This is fascinating. But it was all about personal associations, not necessarily about some allergens necessarily even for you.
Well, the allergens is because the body doesn't like that. It's associated with this person who was horrible to me. And all of a sudden, I have the same thing happen with oranges, where I was a kid and my Aunt Noni worked at the Sunkist packing plant. I developed years later an allergy to oranges, and they told me the reason that I had the allergy was because I was taking Keflex for like a month and had eaten oranges, and that it was able to get through the stomach lining and get in and cause this problem. But when I asked my body, why am I, like who do I associate oranges? I immediately went to my Aunt Noni, and a day that I'd gotten a new bicycle about the age of 10. And I was showing her my new bicycle, and going really fast, I crashed.
Oh, no.
And then I was horribly embarrassed. And so that body, with a stomach full of oranges, the body remembers the negativity. And so there's other ways around it. And so, again, I would use the Court of Atonement to put myself in a Court of Atonement with the oranges and my Aunt Noni and ask to resolve the reasons for that.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Again, I haven't had a flare-up of the oranges, which was happening, every week. I was constantly getting into, you don't realize it. I had a really bad breakout from Mountain Dew.
I don't think there's a lot of real citrus in that beverage, but even so.
But you read the ingredients and it's on there. It's like, oh my gosh, I did never suspect.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
And like I said, I haven't had any in years since I figured that out.
Okay. So it doesn't have to even be specifically about people, although there's associations. You had to kind of figure out the associations before you were able to shift the behavior, it sounds like.
Right.
And then put those people in the Court of Atonement.
I don't want to tout I'm really not wanting to advertise myself, but I'm actually doing a class on that this weekend. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to be doing a class on on how to figure out what it is.
Did you say next weekend?
Trick. Yeah, it's it's tomorrow.
Oh, well, the podcast won't come out till Monday, so I'm afraid people will miss, but I'm sure you'll offer other things, and I know you have a lot online. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be online eventually in my classes thing.
Okay, but of course local listeners can tune into that. So courtofatonement.com.
Right.
So Amy Jo Ellis, this is great. We're going to take a little break here and shift gears, take a breath, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. We would like to talk about dreams as messages from loved ones and possibly as dreams as guidance, and also how to resolve the energy of a nightmare. These are some of the topics that you want to focus on in the second half. And of course, we'll be taking your calls. So we are broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz and co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU and podcast everywhere. After the break, we will talk much more to Amy Jo Ellis. You can find her at courtofatonement.com. We will be right back. You are listening to the Dream Journal, and I am Catherine Bell of Experiential Dream Work. All right. So people all over the world are interested in dreaming, and if you'd like to nudge that global algorithm to help spread interest in dreaming, please follow the Dream Journal on your favorite podcast app and consider leaving us a rating or review on any place that you listen to us. But really, the most important thing is to tell your friends. The Dream Journal has a mission of getting people talking about dreaming. And what better way to say that than you're listening to a podcast about dreaming? So I hope that you will be able to spread the word about dreaming. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram to find out about upcoming shows and pod drops. Look for hashtag The Dream Journal and at Experiential Dreamwork. And also, please do contact me if you'd like to be a guest on the show to talk about a new book or to let folks know about your dream-related offerings. We have weekly shows, so we're always looking for guests. I'd love to hear from you. Is a reminder that you can now buy tickets for our local in-person dream conference at the beautiful Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History. The Festival of Dreams will be held October 10th through 12th. Also, if you are in the Boston area, September 26th and 27th, please consider another IASD regional event near Boston in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. I will be there leading a workshop about my treasure hunt approach to dreaming. Plus, I'll be singing some of my original dream songs. You can find out about both of these fun events and look for a promo code for the festival at asdreams.org/regionals. You get a little discount if you catch that promo code. asdreams.org/regionals. Today's guest is Amy Jo Ellis and her fabulous Court of Atonement. You can get in touch with her at courtofatonement.com, or as she likes to say, Court of Atonement. Amy Jo, maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about your experience with dreams. You were talking about nightmares. What is it that you do about nightmares? What do you think they represent, and how can you resolve the energy of that nightmare?
Yeah, I believe that the nightmares are giving us like a little insight of something that we're not handling in our daily lives that might be lining up to be. I'm not going to say that it's going to be anything like the images that we saw, because some of those are pretty horrific. Yeah. But they'll bring up anxiety. They'll bring up the same energy that we felt when we were in the dream: anxiety, a feeling of panic, a feeling of not being able to get something done on time. That kind of energy will come up in the dream. And it's an opportunity for us to take a minute and go, okay, Lord, like, what do I have coming up that I'm like this afraid of? You know what I mean? And then I'm feeling this panic and this worried about, a paper that's due in school, or I have something that I'm not handling. And once you figure that out, then you can go tackle that, right? But half the time we can't figure it out. And so what I like to do with it is, if I wake up and I'm feeling that kind of energy, is I know that there's something outside of myself, whether it's God or it's spirit or it's universe, or, whatever you tune into, whatever God kind of name you use. I just say, okay, God, I want you to solve whatever reason I had this dream. I'm handing it over to you. Help me solve this. Whatever this is, I have to solve this. And that feeling of anxiety and panic, which used to keep me up for hours after a nightmare, just starts to fade immediately. You can feel it coming down. And if it hasn't left completely, I'll try it again. Okay, whatever is still relating here, I'm asking to resolve the reason I'm feeling this. Why did you show me that? I want this to be resolved. And so we have the Court of Atonement, which my guide says, if you can think to use it for it, then you better. You might as well. There's no harm in using it. And so I'll just say, okay, I just start with my name. I am just Richard Ellis, place myself in a full Court of Atonement with this dream. And I ask for divine intervention to resolve the reasons I had this dream.
Wow.
And boy, that just really shuts the door on it.
So you find that your dreams change when you ask that, or do you get like
I begin to feel way more calm, and then I can fall back asleep easily, and I'll dream something different.
Amy Jo, there's something here that's coming up for me about the idea of asking for help, and this is something that I really have struggled with over time, and I think a lot of people do. A lot of the dreamers that I work with was like even if it's kind of, they think that they're open to help, there's a lot of energy of, oh, I got this, I can do this, I don't need help, that there's a lot of sort of pressure on us to be self-sufficient, and it's difficult to ask for help. I've certainly found that myself, and as I said, lots of people that I work with. And so there's something that you're talking about here of asking God to solve this. Is there must be a certain amount of surrender involved, in like trust that something outside of myself, or maybe at my deepest self that I can't consciously access, is going to help. So that this whole concept of asking for help seems kind of profound, actually.
Right, and it's something you can go at as a scientific approach. Just try it a few times and see if it helps.
Just try it, no harm, right?
Try it and see if it helps. But you're talking about people who they feel like they've got it themselves. I one time had a real dear friend when we were living in Puerto Rico, who I saw him really struggling. And I pulled up with my car. He was struggling to walk up a hill, and he was holding himself up on a chain link fence. And he's like, nope, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to get the exercise. I'm doing this. It was hot. I'm like, Richard, just let me drive you home. You have nothing to prove here. Well, he finally let me drive him to his house. I drove him up the hill and let him out. But then I went home and I asked my guide. I just asked a question and then listened to what the answer came to mind, whatever, whether it's myself, I don't know who answers, but I really am convinced that there are guides out there, and I'm talking to these guides, and I asked my guides, what can I do to help Richard? And they said, save your breath. He will not accept help from anyone. They said it's not possible for him in his belief system. He doesn't believe that there's a God out there. He doesn't believe that there's anything that can help him, and he gets what he believes. And so there's nothing you can do, basically. And so I wouldn't go down that easy anymore. But back then I didn't know what else to do, so I just let it go. And I knew he was in trouble, and he was failing. I knew that. And then at about 10 o'clock at night, my guides alerted me and said, now would be a good time to pray for him.
Oh wow.
And I mean, oh my God, he died.
Oh wow.
And so I went in and I started just asking for his name was Richard, for Richard to and I said his full name, by the way, but I just asked for Richard to recognize that there is something bigger than himself.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for him to recognize that he can get help, and I asked to send somebody who loves him dearly to him to explain what's going on. And all of a sudden, Richard, in all of his crassness, comes on in my head, and he's like, "Well, that's just great. I didn't think this was going to happen." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's pitch black. It's middle of the night. It's 10, 11 o'clock at night. It gets dark in Puerto Rico at 6, no matter what time of year."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm like, what's it like? Being just what's it look like?" Oh, I realize it's pitch black, but when he goes, "No, that's the thing. I know it's dark where you are, but you wouldn't believe how light this place is. It's so full of colors. It's just like," he goes, "it's just like when I used to I think he said, do shrooms as a kid."
Uh-huh.
And he said, "There's colors we don't have." And he started explaining some things to me. I was like, oh my gosh. It was, and usually when I hear spirit, I hear them in like really deep inside my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And this was inside the inner ear. It wasn't outside my head, but it was definitely the ears had something to do with picking him up. It was a total different connection than I had used before. And I was like, wow, this is so real.
Wow. Okay. Oh, interesting. So it occurs to me that I could even put myself in a court of atonement to have more belief, like to find out about. Right. Because if I've tried such things and they're like, oh, well, that's not going to work. Or even if I think, there's some level where I have a lot of doubts that, like even my stories that I can't lucid dream and I don't know how to meditate, like all these stories about myself, that maybe these are beliefs that can be shifted.
Right. It's true. And they can be shifted. Do you want me to walk you through that?
Sure. That'd be great. Please.
All the listeners can follow along.
That'd be great.
And so you don't have to, you don't, okay, go ahead. You can say it out loud. So I state your name and your full name, first, middle, and last.
Yep.
I state your name.
So I should do it right now, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay. I, Catherine Robbins Bell.
Place myself.
Place myself.
Yeah. Catherine, say the whole name again.
Oh, I, Catherine Robbins Bell, place myself, Catherine Robbins Bell,
into a full court of atonement.
Into a full court of atonement.
For the purpose of resolving.
For the purpose of resolving.
Any and all reasons I am resistant.
Any and all reasons I am resistant.
To receiving outside help.
To receiving outside help.
I bring in the entirety of my family lineages.
I bring in the entirety of my family lineages.
I ask to analyze our timelines.
I ask to analyze our timelines.
And resolve any and all reasons.
And resolve any and all reasons.
We are so resistant to receiving help.
We are so resistant to receiving help.
I ask that we be educated.
I ask that we be educated.
In the divine truth.
In the divine truth.
About receiving help.
About receiving help.
Okay, so then we just kind of let that go.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And see whether it goes anywhere.
Okay.
And what we're doing is we're saying, okay, if we had all these spiritual beliefs that this was negative and that you couldn't, that kind of thing, we didn't ask for a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
We just asked for the divine truth, whatever the truth is. And therefore, I'm not leading you down a primrose path.
Right. Right. And it's just about resistance to help, which seems pretty innocuous and even helpful. Like it's not going to get me into trouble. Asking for help is always good.
Right.
Okay. Right. And I could believe that with my mind, but I think there have been, let's go ahead and put it in the past tense, there used to be layers where I would just say, no, I got this. I can do it myself. And instead, now I'm releasing those resistances. Huh.
Right. And so if all of a sudden at the soul level will bring it into the body, if all of a sudden it feels like, oh, you know what? I remember her saying that. Let me just try it.
Mm-hmm.
It should be more freed up. because it's my dad. What's coming to mind is my dad. He used to talk about he didn't like affirmation
Right.
because it felt like lying.
Me too. I feel the same way.
He's like, I'm lying to myself. It's just an absolute lie. Well, when you feel that, it's not doing any good to do them.
Yep.
And so you have to kind of fiddle with it. And so let's say, in every day, in every way, and what's that? Every day, in every way, my life gets better and better.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't feel true, it's really hard to say it. And so you can say, I can see that in some ways my life is better. In places, my life is getting better and better. Like, I've got more dirty laundry than I used to. And you can start to play with it until you can kind of lead yourself. Like, imagine you're in a hole and you have to lead yourself out. You can't just yell at the top of the hill, jump out, top of the hole, hey, jump out. You can kind of get on your belly and reach down and pull the guy out, right?
Right. Okay.
Right. And so you can't really fight that resistance. And so again, with the Court of Atonement, it's just used for everything. I would say, okay, put myself in a Court of Atonement to resolve the reason I'm resisting this. And I'm like, it's pretty simple. Doesn't take much memorizing. It's only really 3 statements and you're done. But it's gotten such a following that it's, my mom loves coming into the Facebook group and listening to all of the testimonial people of people saying, oh my gosh, I did this and that happened,
Right. Right.
But yeah.
That is so cool. In some ways, she was kind of originator, or at least was your first fan base and exactly. Convert. Believer.
I'd go so far as say she's the one who really recognized the value.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's fabulous. I love that. So we have a little bit of time left. I'm wondering, what topics are you excited to talk about that we want to be sure to get to before we get to the end? Because I want to let listeners know that at the end of the show, we're going to play a song, original song by Amy Jo Ellis, who was a performer up until her boss was murdered in Puerto Rico, right? That you're an entertainer, and I have heard you play your songs, and we have a recording of one of your songs, and so after the outro, I'll be playing that. And so I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to play that. So I'm wondering, what topics do you want to get to before we get to the end of our chat time?
Well, we've done pretty good.
Yeah, we have.
On the list.
Yeah, no, this is good.
I'd like to say that what we think about is what we bring about.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we think about the problems and the likelihood of problems, the more likely there is that a problem's going to occur.
Mm-hmm.
And so that when you can try to move past that with your thoughts and go, oh, wouldn't it be nice if it went really smooth? And you try to look at it. Wouldn't it be nice if it went really smooth? Wouldn't it be good if this, and put your focus on that better outcome, our lives really improve.
What about worry, like an anxiety? There's a lot of anxiety in the world today. And are we just making things worse? And now that's something to worry about. Like, now I'm worrying about worrying.
Oh, don't worry about worrying. Just stop it.
Just stop it.
Just stop it. Just go, wait a minute. I'm worrying here. Wouldn't it be nice if it all turned out okay?
Ooh, okay.
I'd like to see it turn out like this, and energy follows thought. You just start building the future you want in your mind, and it does start to clear. I live in the same world that everybody else lives in.
Yeah.
And I am way more at peace.
Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if it had a good outcome?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if I could get this right outcome? Wouldn't this be, do something about it. Hand it over to God. Don't just sit there and worry. Hand it over and say, all right, I don't like this situation. I'd rather see this, and if you're, I was going to say, the Court of Atonement isn't really a prayer. It is if you ask God to join in.
Okay.
But it is a way of getting a clarity of thought about where you're wanting to go.
Okay.
And so, right. And I was going to say, for people who, I am not a religious person. I'm not. But if when I see something that I don't like, I don't allow it to get bigger inside me. I say, stop, stop, oh, stop. No, not that.
Uh-huh.
And I just say, I'm going to hand that over to God, and I'm going to trust that it's going to all come out. And this is the way I want to see it go. I want it to look like this. You know, I want the gas prices to come down.
Well, we don't have enough people on that one, I think, right now. Although it is funny, there is a little price war going on at some of our local gas stations. So in my neighborhood, maybe people are having that thought.
That's it.
This is very cool. Okay.
That was the first time I really thought of it. So.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Well, okay. Well, get ready then. Here, they're coming down now. So this is wonderful, Amy Jo Ellis, and I will say that we are having technical difficulties with your audio, but I will definitely append to the end of the podcast the song that you sent me. And so podcast listeners will hear the song. So people who are listening live, this is maybe an opportunity for you to go to the podcast and listen to the song by Amy Jo Ellis, which will be coming out on Monday. At noon is my official release date. And the song that I'm going to play is called It's About Life. And I wonder if you'd like to say a few words about that song, Amy Jo.
Oh, sure. It's About Life is a song that I'd written. It was funny because this is back before I knew anything about mediumship and channeling and things like that. I had been to an Anthony Robbins event, and he said, if you have a question that you need to answer, he said, and you don't know anybody to ask, he goes, just think of somebody who would know that, whether they're living or they're not, and ask the essence of that person. And so we were supposed to ask 3 questions, and I asked 3 questions, and they were super profound, the answers that came back. And one of them that I had asked was, I asked James, the essence of James Taylor, if you could sum up drug addiction in 1 line for a song, what would you say?
Uh-huh.
And he said, they offer you comfort, but it's just a pillow on a bed of nails.
Oh, a pillow on a bed
of nails. And I went, wow, that's so good. That's so good. Well, my husband, when I got home, he goes, hey, why don't you try writing a full song with the essence of somebody?
Uh-huh.
And again, this is like before I had gotten into this at all. And so I asked the essence of John Denver, who had died like 3 or 4 months prior, to write a song with me, and this is the song that came forward.
Okay.
And I'd written 2 verses in the chorus, but still needed to write the bridge. And went out. I had to go to bed that night, and the next morning, this voice in my head kept saying, "Finish the song." Outside, I'm sitting at a picnic table. And I'm trying to finish writing the song. And my neighbor, who is a rock and roll guy, tattoos, piercings in his nose, that kind of guy, he comes walking over. And as he sits down at the table, he sings John Denver's song, "Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back." And he goes, "I don't know what I did that for. I hate that song."
But that was your bridge. No, I don't know. Maybe. Kind of.
But I kind of went, oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
That's not a coincidence, is it?
Yeah. Are there ever any coincidences? Amy Jo.
This is my song co-written with John Denver, but he doesn't get any royalty.
He doesn't need him. He's dead.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't spirit. He only wrote it in spirit. So.
Oh, okay. We can give royalties to his spirit then, I guess. Amy Jo Ellis, this has been fabulous. The Court of Atonement.com. Good luck with all your upcoming events, and people can go and get on your mailing list and learn more. I know you have a lot of videos and things that you offer, and little PDFs about the technique on your website that people can do to learn the technique themselves.
Yes. And if they can sign up for the email and get 14 days of free lessons without buying anything.
Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amy Jo. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, and we are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org. The podcast is released on the Monday after the show. It spreads interest in dreaming when you subscribe, rate, and review. I am Catherine Bell. You can find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. Email me at Catherine@ksqd.org, KATHERINE. Follow Experiential Dreamwork and hashtag the Dream Journal on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to keep up with the shows. I'd like to thank Rick Kleffel, engineer and music creator. Also, phones by Eric Nelson. Intro and outro pieces are both by Mood Science. And tomorrow morning when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.
It isn't shiny objects you've placed high upon a shelf, nor a single shining moment in the sun. It isn't who's the best or who scored highest on the test, or who's the fastest in the races we all have run. It's not whose hand is in their mouth, nor whose shoulders to the wheel, who has the richest bank account, or who can make the biggest deal. It's about life, it's about living, friendship, laughter, and tears, sadness or joy to create or destroy, learning to overcome fears. It's about life, it's about forgiveness, searching for the best in each waking hour, giving and caring, receiving and sharing, nurturing life's sacred flower. It isn't about trophies, awards, or souvenirs, nor the glory we found in a job well done. It isn't wrong or right, and there is no black or white, just shades and hues all colored by the sun. It's not who did who wrong back then, or what you won't allow. Forgive the past mistakes we've made, there's only here and now. And it's about life, it's about living, friendship, laughter, and tears, sadness or joy to create or destroy, learning to overcome fears. It's about life, it's about forgiveness, searching for the best in each waking hour, giving and caring, receiving and sharing, nurturing life's sacred flower. You think you have it figured out, just what you're meant to do, when someone comes along and turns around your point of view. 'Cause it's about life, it's about living, friendship, laughter, and tears, sadness or joy to create or destroy, learning to overcome fears. It's about life, it's about forgiveness, searching for the best in each waking hour, giving and caring, receiving and sharing, nurturing life's sacred flower. It's about life, it's about life, it's about